morning to all of you, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm here today to share with you some insights of the test. So my presentation here might be a little bit technical, but please bear with me. If you have any questions, you can post the questions to me after my presentation. I'll try my best to answer your questions. So I'm sure all of you know that the bird nest comes from a bird called swiftlets, right? So the swiftlets actually construct their nest using their saliva, which are produced by a large pair of salivary glands under their tongue. And as that's we can say that the edible bird nest is actually the secretion of swiftlets saliva. So there are generally two types of bird nests, which can be eaten by human beings, right? So there are house nests, which are culture nests in a hygienic and controlled environment. This type of nest is normally contain less impurities and feathers. Whereas cave nest is actually harvested from the natural cave, and this type of nest is normally contain much more foreign materials of impurities and feathers compared with house nest. So this slide shows that how the raw bird nests are cleaned to turn them into edible bird nests. So the bird's nest is actually harvested from the sweeper's farm. So these are house nests. The raw house nest is actually undergo sorting to segregate it according to its quality, and also to eliminate the cross-contamination from heavy metals and other toxic bacteria. It will then go through cleaning. Right? We know that the bird nest contains a lot of foreign materials such as grass, feathers, dirt, and sand. So what we do is that we wet out the bird nest with reverse osmosis water. And after that, we manually pick using a tweezer. So this is a very manual work. Subsequently, the clean bird nest is laid onto a molding basket to form a standard shape. The clean bird nest is then undergo drying. So the drying is not using an oven. We don't use high temperature because high temperature will degrade the nutritional value in the bird nest. So what we do is that we air dry until a right moisture content is achieved. Lastly, the clean bird nest is weighed and packed after quality control check. So what sort of quality control checks that we have conducted to ensure that the bird nest comply with Malaysian standards. So these are the criteria that specify in Malaysian standard and also Malaysian Food Acts, whereby the bird nest must comply with this specification before they are marketed. Right? So microbiology is a very technical term that basically is about bacterial contamination. So microbiological and moisture content are conducted actually to control the spoilage of product. So we do not want too much of bacteria inside. We do not too much moisture inside to enhance the growth of bacteria. So basically, we have to fulfill the classification given by Malaysian standards. So heavy metals is needed to be controlled. If heavy metals is exceeding the permissible level, it can cause brain, kidney, and liver damage. So it knows that recently it's a puha about bird nest talking about nitrite. Nitrite is actually naturally occurrence. That means you can find in bird nest in other things as well, right? But however, we have to control the dosage, in this bird nest, because the higher if they exceed at a certain dose, it can react with amino acids which can find a lot in bird nest to form a carcinogen. So that carcinogen, what do you mean by carcinogen? Carcinogen is actually material or substances which can cause cancer. Right? So to fulfill the specification of bird nest as per specified by this Malaysian standard, bird nest must contain stearic acid and also some vinegars. So this table shows that the tolerance levels that, according to Malaysian standard, that manufacturers of bird nest have to meet. So the bird nest must comply with tolerance level according to this specification, whereby that it will only consider fit for human consumption if they comply with these specifications. So what is actually in edible bird nest? The most important of edible bird nest is it has the properties of glycoproteins. What is glycoproteins? Glycoproteins is actually a molecule that contains a sugar and protein bonded together. So there are 8 principles of sugar that required by human body to form glycoproteins. So we only can find the glycoproteins in fruits and vegetables, whereby if the fruits and vegetables ripen on the plant itself. But this kind of process, I think, is very rarely that we often happening right now with our modern agriculture. Because much of our fruits and vegetables nowadays, we pick while it is still green and artificially ripened before they put up on the shelf for sale. However, we can find all these 8 sugars in bird nest. What can the glycoproteins do? What is the goodness of glycoproteins? So there are reports stated that glycoproteins have anti-cancer properties. It acts as a anti-cancer property by acting as a blocking agent to prevent the carcinogen from attacking the cell and making changes to the cells that have already been exposed to carcinogen. Besides that, we also can act as anti-cancer by activating our immune system cell in fighting the cancer cell. By doing so, it can prevent or delay the spread of cancer cell. Besides acting as an anti-cancer, these glycoproteins also can help in maintaining the normal function of chronic fatigue syndrome such as joint pain, migraine headaches. It also can eliminate the implication of inflammation due to tissue injury caused by bacterial infection. It also can help to eliminate the implication of gastric ulcer caused by ulcer bacteria, and also eliminate the implication of stress in infection or inflammation or trauma by preventing or delay the cell due to this stress. What other things you can find in edible bird nest? You can find a lot of amino acids. So bird nest contains 20 types of amino acids, and all the 9 types of essential amino acids are needed by our body. So what do we mean in this context? What do we mean by essential? Essential means the amino acid is required by our body, but not produced by our body. We have to get it from food. Non-essential means the amino acid can be produced by our body, even though that we don't get it from the food that we eat. Conditioners, this amino acid is not required by our body, but it accepts that in illness or stress. So sometimes certain illness you need certain amino acid to help suppress your illness. So what amino acids is so good about to our body? So amino acids, as you know, amino acids can help us to break down food. So you break down food with other components which is required for our body. So those study biology, I think they know, right? So it also can help in growth and bone development in children, and also help us to repair our tissue, body tissue, whereby if our body tissue damage, like our muscle damage and all those things can help us to repair the tissue. And also enhance our immune system by helping us to produce antibodies. As for other food, bird nest also contain carbohydrate, right? So carbohydrate in bird nest contain about 9% of stearic acid. So what actually is stearic acid and what is so good about stearic acid, right? So stearic acid has been reported as it has a function as anti-influenza virus activities. It can fight with bacteria or virus. Okay. You know the doctors that always advise the mothers to breastfeed the baby. Why? So why the doctor always advise the mothers to breastfeed the baby? They say that breastfeed is very good for babies and so on. So what is the reason of doctors' advice? And we do not know. I mean, any one of you can know what's the reasons that human milk is good for babies. Right? So it's a very important ingredient inside human milk, salicylic acid. Okay? There's also a report saying that there are low mortality for breastfeeding children. Okay? So besides function and anti-influenza virus activities, it also can help to improve the brain development and memory of infants. So there is a report, scientific report says that those mentally retarded persons, they are lacking of salicylic acid in their brain. And the report also says that there's a possibility of salicylic acid can prevent Alzheimer's disease. Right? So any one of you taking glucosamine or chondroitin as a supplement? Okay. We know that glucosamine and chondroitin is good for bone strength, to enhance our bone strength. So what you can find in bird nest is in bird nest contain abundance a lot of chondroitin, trichosis, and aminotransferase. This is the main component in bone and derma. So it can help to improve our bone strength and also increase the dermal thickness. There's a report saying that it also can help patients with osteoarthritis and also those suffering from joint pain. Apart